Hello, Tech Pros, episode 145.
Welcome to the podcast where I chat with professionals who are getting the job done using technology 7 days a week. Each week, we start with Motivation Monday. Tuesday is about productivity, Wednesday, leadership, Thursday, technology, Friday, people and communication, Saturday, entrepreneurship, and Sunday, being unplugged. All right, let's get started.
Hello, Tech Pros. This is Chad Bostic, and I'm excited to speak to you today about a topic that's very relevant to a lot of episodes that have come out this week. So if you missed it on Monday, Motivation Monday, I really got very open about some things that have happened in my past and things that that I continue to struggle with today, and that is social anxiety disorder. So if you missed it, go back to hellotechpros.com/141. That's episode 141, where I talked about a long time ago, it was about 15 years ago, I was struggling with social anxiety so bad, so deeply, that I contemplated suicide. And it was just the rock bottom, the worst moment you could ever have in your life. That was it. Fortunately, I made the right decision. And more importantly than that, I made the right decision to improve, to look for small improvements, small wins. I wasn't trying to revolutionize my life. I wasn't trying to, start a podcast or anything like that. I was just trying to, can I meet people? Can I have conversations with people? Can I build relationships with people? And the thing that I struggled with the most was just having conversations, any kind of conversations with people. Because of this self-doubt, because of this imposter syndrome, because of these little voices in my head that kept echoing back what I was trying to articulate, but telling me, no, that's not it, say something else. And I would freeze up, and I would not talk, and I would stutter, and I would just really got so self-conscious about it that I just did not have conversations. I did not try to meet new people. When new people tried to introduce themselves to me, I would completely block them out of my life and not have anything to do with them because I was just so critical on myself, so worried about what they were thinking about me. So that became a vicious cycle, and I talked all about that in episode 141, and the steps that I took to try to start to change things around. Then on Tuesday, on Productivity Tuesday, I talked about how you can be productive when you have social anxiety. When you're dealing with social anxiety, it's really easy to be productive on some things because, you know what? You can go find a quiet place. You can put on your headphones, you can get in the zone, and whether you work in technology or you work in another field, if you have tasks that don't require other input, don't require other people, sometimes you can be the most productive person in the office, the most productive person on the team, because it's just a one-man band, a one-girl band, right? You're just cranking it all out yourself. However, that doesn't scale. You can't do everything on your own in a business, in a job, in a school project. To really do big things, and I say big things with like a capital B and a capital T. When you're trying to accomplish big things, it takes a group effort. It takes a lot of people, or several people, or even just two people. And if you are struggling with social anxiety and you cannot function in a group environment and you shut up, you clam up, and you just sit there, just kind of looking down at your desk or staring at the computer and not involving the other people, not talking to the other people or not joining their conversation, it becomes extremely difficult to get productive in those group settings. And so you end up actually eroding the productivity of the entire team. So you're trying to be productive on your own. You're trying to do everything by yourself, or at least your portion of the task by yourself without interacting with the other people. But because there's no communication there, there's a breakdown in the process, there's a breakdown in the communication, and you end up eroding the overall productivity of the whole team. So I talked about in that episode, in episode 142, you can go to hellotechpros.com/142, or of course on Stitcher, iTunes, all the other things. I talked about first of all, recognizing that that's a state of mind, that's a state of a problem that we can address, and then some steps to help address it. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, we had some really awesome guests come on the show and talk about leadership and technology. And today I'm going to get back to this topic that's really, really fresh in my mind about social anxiety, specifically around communicating. Sometimes when you put a little bit of emphasis on a different syllable, it sounds kind of weird, doesn't it? Communicating. It sounds really weird. And so back in the day when I would say something like that, I would wrap my head would just get completely twisted around, what did I say? Communicating? That's not even a word. And I would sit here locked up, frozen, just kind of staring off into space, completely petrified that somebody noticed that. You guys probably didn't even notice that I pronounced it weird, but I noticed it. And that can lead, in many circumstances, can lead people to get triggered through social anxiety, right? If you're with your very trusted friends who love you no matter what, if you're with very trusted family members who have your back no matter what, they're going to blow it off, you're going to blow it off, it's going to be okay. But if you're speaking to strangers, if you're speaking to acquaintances, if you're just trying to have a conversation with one person, but other people are there, maybe listening in, like you're talking to your friend, but you're at a dinner table with some other people there, you can get completely derailed by your own thought processes. People who suffer with some aspects of social anxiety can get completely wrapped up around what they're thinking about what they're saying instead of just saying what they're trying to say. And again, this is a spectrum, right? There's no one size fits all to this. We're all snowflakes. We're all unique individuals. We all have our quirks, and we all have different ways that social anxiety manifests itself. So I was earlier this week on Monday in my Slack channel. If you haven't already joined, you can join at hellotechpros.com/Slack. My Slack channel is talking to a lot of the other audience members and prior guests about the social anxiety, because on Monday it was a huge day for me to actually publish that episode. And a couple of people had some great points, that they didn't suffer with some of the symptoms that I had, or some of the problems that I had, or triggering events that I had, but they had others. They had different ones. And what's important is self-awareness, first of all, of aware that in some situations you can be triggered, or you are anxious, or you are ego-driven. And I don't mean ego meaning full of yourself and thinking you're the best thing since Donald Trump. But what I mean is you think of yourself just the opposite, or you're just thinking of yourself in general. You're wrapped around your own head. Your own head is going crazy about yourself, and it's judgment. You're judging yourself, and your ego is getting in the way, and it's telling you, I'm no good, I suck, they don't want to hear from me, I don't know what I'm talking about, I need more experience, I need more data, I need to think about this some more before I give my information or ask for a favor or tell them my feelings or whatever it is. And so that struggle is real, man. That struggle is really, really real. And so on the Slack channel, anyway, going back to the Slack channel, we had Jozak from the Coding Blocks podcast, great friend of mine, and he's in the Slack channel. He's been giving me some topics of suggestions on topics to talk about on this show. And one of the things that Joe brought up is, sometimes conversations can be tough. In different situations, some people struggle with confrontation, right? Some people struggle with asking for favors. Some people struggle with saying no. Everybody has different things that they struggle with as far as communicating, having crucial conversations with people. So I thought that would be a great episode to have today on People Friday, where I could just tell you about my views on communication, my views on relating to people, and having these crucial conversations. And I say crucial conversations because there's actually a book that I read probably about 8-9 years ago when I was first getting into leadership that I highly recommend. It's called Crucial Conversations, Tools for Talking When the Stakes Are High. And there's a number of different authors. Kerry Patterson is one, and I'm trying to see who else. Joseph Grenny. There's like 4 or 5 different authors that have different pieces of this. But it's a great book. I highly recommend it. It's great for leadership. It's great for just life. It's great for relationships because it's not really about work. It's certainly not about IT. It's just about relating to people and having conversations and having specifically crucial conversations. Now, the authors of this book, their definition of a crucial conversation is they have a diagram of a pyramid or just a triangle, and each side of the triangle has a particular attribute. And so they describe crucial conversations as having these 3 attributes on them. First of all, there's got to be strong emotions involved. Second of all, the stakes have to be high. And third of all, you need opposing opinions. Okay, so some of these I agree with completely. Some of them I don't agree with, specifically about when you're dealing with social anxiety issues. And so I'll dive into these kind of one by one. So first of all, strong emotions. What are strong emotions? Well, it really depends on the person that's carrying the emotion. What is a strong emotion to me may not be a strong emotion to you. What may trigger a very, very, very strong emotion from my wife may trigger nothing but I need a sandwich and a nap from me, right? Because that happens a lot. And so strong emotions can be different for different parties having these crucial conversations. And there may be a crucial conversation event where you don't even know that you're in a crucial conversation because you don't have strong emotions. You just don't care, or you don't believe it, or it's not a big deal, or it happened and now it's over. But what matters is that one person or the other person or both has extremely strong emotions in this area, on this topic, about this conversation that is either happening or not happening. And I say not happening because sometimes there needs to be a crucial conversation. Sometimes we need to get it out on the table. Whatever is going on, we need to share. So me suffering from social anxiety disorder, me contemplating suicide 15 years ago, that was a crucial conversation that never happened, ever. I mean, I shared it with my wife, many years ago, but that's a completely different level. I've never shared it with friends. I've had friends this week, all throughout this week, going, Chad, I had no idea you were struggling with that. I mean, dude, I knew you back in high school, or I knew you back in the 1990s when we were building websites and doing multimedia stuff together. I had no idea you were struggling there. I wish I would have known. I would have tried to help. It's like, dude, it's not on you. It's on me. That was a crucial conversation that needed to happen. There were very, very strong emotions. The problem was, on my side, the emotions were so strong, it got in the way of me having the conversation. I was so down on myself. I was so depressed about my own state of mind. I was so lonely. I felt so awkward that it was very difficult for me to have a conversation about anything. Even my friends. With my friends, I could talk about whatever. I could talk about video games, talk about the new movies that are coming out. I could talk about playing ping pong and writing code and drinking Mountain Dew and all that good stuff. But I couldn't have very many crucial conversations with things that absolutely, really, really, really mattered. And that was one of them. That was a huge one that I never really talked about publicly or to anyone until this Monday when I published episode 141 of Hello Tech Pros. So strong emotions are involved, very strong emotions. So I mentioned, my wife and I, we could have different viewpoints, right? If let's say I made a comment about something, and and she took it one way, and I meant it another. If she has very, very strong emotions about what I said or what I didn't say, then that's the topic for a crucial conversation that we need to have, and we need to get it out. She needs to let me know, hey, my emotions are very high right now. What you said really upset me, or really angered me, or really hurt me, and we need to talk about it. So on my side, if my emotions are not equivalent to hers, what has happened in the past is I could say, oh, you're blowing this way out of proportion. You're crazy. Girl, you crazy. You're going off about this, and that's nothing. That is not what happened at all. You just need to chill out. You just need to relax. You need to go calm down. And let me tell you, gentlemen, that's the wrong thing to say in any situation. That is bad. Now, all of a sudden, you're in a crucial conversation times 10. You're in a crucial conversation to the power of a crucial conversation. It's just got real. So even though you don't share the same emotional state or share the same strength of emotion or type of emotion as the other person on the other side of the conversation or potential conversation, that doesn't mean that their emotions are not valid. And the same thing with you. If another person's like, so-and-so, it's no big deal. Whatever. Or they just completely blow it off or acting like nothing happened, it may be because in their head, what happened was so insignificant that it's not worth an emotional response. And it really didn't trigger them the way that it's triggering you. Regardless of, forget about social anxiety. It's just, if it triggers your emotions, but it doesn't trigger theirs, it's still a conversation that needs to take place, right? So these strong emotions. Okay, the next pillar is the high stakes. What do we mean by high stakes? Well, it means that if we don't have this conversation, or we have this conversation, but it's in a negative context, it's in a negative style, it's a fight, right? It blows up, and I mean blows up, meaning people are getting their feelings hurt. It's turning into a screaming match and all that kind of stuff. The stakes are high if we don't have this conversation or don't have this conversation maybe appropriately. The bad things are going to happen, right? So again, taking it back to a personal level, if I really, really hurt my wife, but I didn't understand that I hurt her, or I didn't accept and take responsibility and take ownership and listen to her and really try to understand her emotions, try to understand that she had these emotions or that she's having these emotions, and that regardless of what my intent was or what my feelings are, it did create a huge emotional response on her. It did hurt her. It did make her angry, whatever it was. If we leave that unchecked and just leave it as it is, that's going to erode a lot of our relationship, right? One thing might be bad, but if that goes on and on over the course of a relationship, we have another one. If it turns into a habit where Chad is completely blowing off my wife's emotions and not giving them due respect and not giving them due credit and not validating them and say, hey, I don't feel that way, but I want to hear you out and I want to understand. The stakes will be very, very high because it's our relationship at stake. It's our marriage at stake. And that's bad. Okay, let's take it down to a more professional level. So if you're having a situation at work where maybe a colleague said something or didn't say something, the stakes are high. Maybe the employer has never recognized all the amazing extra credit activities that you put into your workload, right? Maybe your employer never goes out of his or her way to say, you know what? I really appreciate what you did here. You were here all weekend. You took work home. Like, I know you sacrificed some stuff with your family, with your kids, with your hobbies, with your health, with all that kind of stuff. And you just really, really stood up and took ownership of this stuff and completed it and delivered it on Monday, and you went out of your way to do that. And I really, really appreciate that, right? So what happens if an employer doesn't ever do that, right? If they never recognize that, or just say just one time, if they don't do that, the stakes are still high. Because what are the stakes? The stakes are that employee could feel taken advantage of. They could feel disrespected. They could feel undervalued. And the stakes are that is going to erode the relationship between the employer and the employee. And if that continues to happen, sooner or later, that employee is going to be like, you know what, I'm looking for something else. Now, how many times have you heard the phrase, people don't quit their jobs, they quit their bosses. People don't quit their company, they quit their supervisor or manager, right? And sometimes it's because we're not having these crucial conversations. Same thing as if you are the employer or you are the manager or the leader of a team, man, the stakes are always high. The stakes are always high when you are a leader on a team, because it seems like every single conversation, every single opportunity or problem or issue or right or wrong or indifferent, the stakes are always high because there's something at stake. It might be the revenue. It might be the cost. It might be the time to deliver. It might be our integrity or our relationship outside of the company, like what the customers think of us. It could be just the relationship factor again of the individuals here at work. And it could be employer to employee, or it could be two employees, right? Something's going on. It could be a crucial conversation that a company needs to have with the audience or with the world, right? Say, hey, you know what? We dropped the ball here. This is a crucial conversation. We got hacked. We did not do a good enough job of protecting your data, and we got hacked. And now I'm really, really disappointed in myself and disappointed in our team, but I have to tell you that your data is out there. Like, your credit cards are now being misused. So here's what we're going to do, right? That is a high stakes conversation that needs to happen. So we don't want to have cover-ups, bad. We don't want to completely ignore the situation, bad. We don't want to blow it off and be like, it's not that important. Because again, going back to the strong emotions, just because you don't feel that it's that big a deal, well, they'll just call the credit card companies and cancel the credit cards. It's no big deal. Well, dude, that's a huge big deal. That's a huge big deal, right? So just because it's not a big deal to you doesn't mean it's not a big deal to somebody else, another recipient or potential recipient of this conversation. So you need to have it. Okay, so we talked about strong emotions. We talked about high stakes. The other pillar here that they talk about in the book, Crucial Conversations, Tools for Talking When the Stakes Are High, are the opposing opinions. Now, I touched on this a couple of times on the emotional side of it, right, where my opinion of the event and my wife's opinion of the event were two different things, right? She felt that I did something, I had a big bonehead move, and I felt that I just did my thing, which maybe bonehead or maybe not, I don't know, but who cares? We'll make it up next week. Okay, we have opposing opinions there. We have completely opposing opinions. So we've talked about that one several times. So let's talk about something more technical, since we're talking to technical professionals. Let's talk about maybe the architecture of a system, right? Or the implementation of a technical solution. Now, I love you guys. I love all you guys and gals out there that are listening to this, because I know how passionate you are about your technology. I know how passionate you are about your solutions, about your toolbox, about your programming languages, about your infrastructure things, about your network things, about your patterns, about your architecture, about your widgets and your just everything technology. You're so opinionated about stuff, and that's awesome. You know what? Because you each have your own individual skill set, and you each have your own individual experience, and you each have your own individual education, whether that's formal or informal, right? We all have very, very strong opinions on technology, on business, on whatever, politics, relationships, on music, everything. Everybody's got extremely strong opinions, and that's a good thing, right? Because if we talk about these opposing opinions in the right manner, if we have a crucial conversation in the right manner about these opposing opinions, we can really learn a lot from each other. The diversity that we have in this world means that if we all really respected each other's opinions and respected each other's ideas, knowing that they come from different places, right? So my experience is different from yours, and your experience is different from hers, and her education is different from his, and his knowledge and information and where he got it is different from somebody else's. That's all good stuff. There's no bad there. So let's bring those opposing opinions together in a healthy manner and talk about them as just opinions. They're opposing opinions. So we have strong emotions, we have high stakes, we have opposing opinions, and we need to have these crucial conversations. But here's where it gets tough, especially dealing with folks who are struggling with social anxiety or folks who just have anxiety about crucial conversations. And I would say that there's a lot of people, just depending on the circumstance, depending on the situation, depending on which crucial conversation you're talking about, are going to do great in some and really have a lot of anxiety in others. So one of the problems is that, yes, the stakes are high, but the emotions are, I almost said imbalance, and I don't mean imbalance meaning like a person is like, woo, like off the rocker, like I thought of myself along for many, many years, but just like the balance of his emotions and her emotions, right? Your emotions and my emotions, they're at a different state. They're at a different level. You're angry and I'm sad, right? You're happy and I feel defeated, right? Just the emotional states are just a little bit different. And so that's one issue. And the other issue is on the opposing opinions. When you have a lot of emotions running, what we sometimes do, I am so guilty of this. Gosh, I don't know how many times, like every day, 50 times a day, I'm guilty of predicting the other person's mindset, predicting the other person's emotions without talking to them, without asking them, without trying to dig into it, without having the conversation. And I go, oh man, she's so angry with me. She's never going to forgive me for this. Or he hates my architecture. There is no way he will ever sign off on it. I got to figure out how to implement it without him knowing. That's bad. Don't do that. Or I know that she and I can never see eye to eye in this area because of some of the other conversations we've had in the past. Okay, well, if you truly do have opposing opinions, then great, talk about them. Let's get them out. Let's talk about them. Let's communicate them in a calm, safe, low stress manner. Let's maybe pro and con them. Let's put them up on the whiteboard. Let's have some discussions about it in a safe manner where we're not attacking each other as individuals, but we're just really focusing on the issues, focusing on the data, focusing on the logic, focusing on the opinions. Many times they're just opinions. But don't just assume that the other person has an opposing opinion to you. There's so many times where we're worried about a crucial conversation because we get stressed out and anxious about having some conflict. We're stressed out about the potential of might be having some conflict, that we get all kinds. Our blood pressure skyrockets. We get a headache, right? We start overeating because you just get those stress jitters, and you need to eat. You need a snack. Just things go bad. They go wrong. They go south in a hurry. And what happened if all of that stress, all of that anxiety was due to the fact that you were assuming that someone had a different opinion than you and you didn't actually know? What if, man, you've been at this job doing it for 7 years, 7 good hard years, and you've been really exceeding expectations just consistently throughout, and you haven't had a significant promotion or raise that fell in line with the value that you brought to the organization, and you are stressed about having this conversation with your boss. You're stressed about it. And you know inside, you just know that they have an opposing opinion, that you're not good enough, that you're not delivering at that level, that you have not been exceeding expectations. And that, 7 years, it really needs to be more like 10 before you get that promotion or get that raise. What if you've been putting it off all this time, when the company or the manager, the supervisor, whoever doesn't even realize that this has happened, right? What if they're just horrible with that kind of detail, and they don't take a look at like the trends and who has been getting promoted and who has not, and they haven't really done a great job of looking at your file and talking to you about your situation? What if they are struggling themselves with social anxiety, and as long as people aren't complaining about stuff, they're just going to let it ride? What if it's that person? What if you're assuming that your boss is really down on you and not promoting you, not giving you the raises you deserve because they're hating on you, because they're disrespecting you, or they don't value you, when really it's just there are other people on the team that are more vocal than you, and they're saying, by golly, I need this money. I want this promotion. Many times the squeaky wheel gets the grease, or the squeaky wheel gets the oil, depending on what part of the country you're from. And sometimes you have this manager, the supervisor, that is very good intended. Just the backbone may not be there, right? So it may not be a different opinion. It may not be an opposing opinion. It may be very much in line with your opinion. They may be thinking, gosh, I wish I could give that money to you. I wish I could give that money to you, but you never asked for it. And these other people are raising stink every 6 months about wanting the next promotion or wanting the next raise. And it's like, man, all I'm trying to do is get them off my back so that I can get everything done. But I really, really appreciate the hard work that you put into it, and really, really appreciate, what's going on here. In that situation, you got to break down on both sides. You got to break down, first of all, on the manager side for not having a crucial conversation with the people who are demanding raises and demanding promotions. Be like, hey, you know what? Well, let's absolutely talk about it. Let's have our one-on-one conversations every week, every 2 weeks, once a month, whatever it is. And we will constantly evaluate where you're at, where you need to get to hit that next milestone, because I want you to get it. But I'm going to do the same thing, that consistently have these crucial conversations every week, every 2 weeks, every month, whatever it is, with everybody on the team, and not leave everybody out. Okay, so that's number one. That manager, that supervisor, that boss, they need to have that side of the crucial conversation. The other side of it is, it's your career. It's your paycheck. It's your lifestyle. Own it. Own it. Take responsibility for it. If you want more, if you think you deserve more, if you feel that you are entitled to it, I'm not saying throw a fit, right? I'm not saying get up in people's face and demand it and give them an ultimatum and tell them you're going to walk out. Just say, hey, you know what? It's been a while since we've had this conversation, and I just want to get it on the calendar. I want to talk about it. Here are my emotions. I'm starting to feel a little bit undervalued. I love the culture, right? I love what's going on here, but I'm starting to feel a little bit undervalued. And my opinion is that I deserve more, right? I deserve this title. I deserve this promotion. I really want to move up in my career. I want to have some growth opportunities in my responsibilities and the things that I'm working on. And my opinion is that I'm more valued than what you're treating me. I would love to hear your input on the matter, right? And just have that conversation. Do so in a respectful manner. Because either way, right, the stakes are high. The stakes are high that if you don't have this conversation, you're going to eventually, I don't know, some bad things are going to happen. It could mean that you end up leaving and go work for somebody else just because you're chasing a paycheck and you didn't want to have a crucial conversation with your boss and your boss didn't want to bring it up, right? Or the stakes are high that you're going to lose a really, really awesome employee because you didn't have a crucial conversation with them about, you know what, nobody's getting a promotion. Or we might give promotions and titles, but nobody's getting more money because we're really struggling here. And I'm trying to fight like cats and dogs to try to not lose anybody in this department. All right, so no cop-outs, no excuses, but we just need to have the conversation. We need to have honest conversations. They're tough, right? They're tough no matter what. They don't call them crucial because they're easy. They call them crucial because they're tough. When you got strong emotions, you got high stakes, you got opposing opinions or the potential to have opposing opinions, and you're assuming the other person's opinion is opposing yours, it's a tough situation to be in. So I'll just close out with this. Try to take a look in both your personal life and your career and in work and everywhere else that you're at. Just be aware of the potential for crucial conversations this next week, right? As you're entering the weekend, as you're coming up next week, just take a look at the areas where maybe there has needed to be a crucial conversation for a long time. Maybe it's been simmering for the last few hours. Maybe it's been simmering for the last few years. You need to get it out there, right? It's cathartic. It's therapeutic. It's good. It may be painful. And the other person may not have listened to this episode. They may not have read the book, Crucial Conversations, right? And they may come across with very, very, very strong emotions and thinking that you're attacking them or thinking that you're judging them or thinking that, I don't know, the stakes are out of alignment, right? But we got to have these conversations. Get it out there. All right, so later we will talk about how to successfully have these conversations in the right way to maybe defuse some of the emotions, to lower the stakes or take care of the stakes, and just kind of negate those opposing opinions as well. And I'll be practicing English. Thank you very much. All right, thanks a lot. You've been listening to Chad Bostic about crucial conversations and anxiety and people. Love you guys, respect you guys. I love to hear your feedback. So hit me up on this episode show notes. You can go to hellotechpros.com/145. Go to my Slack channel at hellotechpros.com/Slack. Tweet me at Chad Bostic at hellotechpros. Or leave a comment on. There's lots of ways. But there's hundreds of you guys downloading these episodes every single day, and there's like 2 that comment on them, that talk about them. And I know you're busy working, and I know you're driving your cars, but every now and then, let me know. A good way you can let me know is going to iTunes, even if you hate iTunes, even if you're not an iOS person. Please leave a review on iTunes. I don't ask enough, but I will have a crucial conversation with you right now. If you've made it to the end of this episode, please go leave me a review on iTunes, and not just click the little stars. Click the 5 stars. Yeah, do that. But also click, what's it called? Leave feedback. Write a review. There's a little button that says write a review. Click that and write something. Say, Chad, you suck. My opinion is this thing is horrible. Or say, Chad, whatever else you feel. But please leave a review on iTunes. I really appreciate that. That helps me get this message out to more people. In my opinion, there's a lot of podcasts about technology. There's a lot of podcasts where we're talking about, the newest framework of the week. And those are awesome. Those are great. We need to have them. Again, we have all these opposing opinions that are so wonderful. But we don't have enough content around this, in my opinion. And we have high stakes. I may have opposing opinions to you guys, and I'm very strongly emotive about this, but we don't have enough conversations about the soft skills, about the people skills, about social anxiety, and I'm so passionate about it, and I want to spread the word and just get the conversation started. So consider this an icebreaker. Please leave a review on iTunes. That way more people can find it. Like the more reviews I get, the higher in iTunes it get bumped up in the rating, then the more often it shows up in the search results, which means more people will listen and download and just build into the cycle. And if we can just nothing else but just have more conversations about the things that really, really matter in technology, if we could have conversations more about what's going on in people's heads and why they have these opinions, instead of always throwing it on the framework or always throwing it on the code or always throwing it on the technology. We need those things. We need to have those conversations, but we have enough conversations about those. Let's talk about the people. Let's talk about the mindsets. Let's talk about the anxiety. Let's talk about the stress. Let's talk about the leadership and the motivation and the productivity that we can get as individuals working with each other. All right, I'm off my soapbox. You've been listening to Chad Bostic. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Take care.
The show notes page for this episode can be found at hellotechpros.com/145. Do you use Slack for team communication? Join the Hello Tech Pros Slack channel at hellotechpros.com/Slack. This episode of Hello Tech Pros is sponsored by Minio Cloud Storage. Minio is a cloud object storage server for developers and DevOps written in Go. The Go programming language is the emerging language of choice for modern cloud infrastructure projects, and it allows Minio to be highly concurrent and lightweight. Minio is Amazon S3 compatible, built with microstorage architecture in mind, but at its heart, Minio is simple, scalable, and supported by a passionate developer and user community. In episode 89 of Hello Tech Pros, I talked with A.B. Periasamy, one of the founders of Minio, about the importance of community support and recruiting software developers who are as passionate about their product's code as artists are of their art. Check out that episode at hellotechpros.com/89 and check out Minio Cloud Storage at minio.io. That's minio.io. Are you new to podcasting? Are you looking for a fast, high-quality, yet budget-friendly podcast production team? Let TransSource Media take care of you. With a team of professional audio and video editors, writers, and graphic artists, they can help you build your podcast from planning, post-production, and platform submission. Using only cutting-edge software and studio equipment, they're here to make each and every show sound at its best. To get a free quote, please visit www.transsourcemedia.com or send them an email at marketing@transsourcemedia.com or call them at 209-505-5693. TransSource Media, transforming businesses through the power of multimedia. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review, subscribe to this channel, and check back tomorrow. This has been People Friday, but tomorrow my featured guest and I discuss entrepreneurship. On Sunday, being unplugged. Monday, motivation. Tuesday, productivity. Wednesday, leadership. Thursday, technology. And then back again on Friday to talk people and communication. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.